Heyo and welcome to another episode of Build&Battle Season 2, our Manor Lords Let's Play, where we will build a beautiful medieval city while battling off bandits, brigands, and no-good doers. In the last episode, we began our new farming settlement of Rivermouth. If you happened to miss last week's episode and want to see how we strategized our wealth and settlement growth to keep up with the King's tax, then click on the info card above or check out the entire Build&Battle Season 2 playlist in the description below. This week, we will continue to grow Rivermouth and begin exporting the grains to New Namruth in hopes to be we can upgrade some of the burgage plots to level 3. So if we actually come over real quick, so far, so good. So real quick, let's already start upgrading some of these and get that nice little downtown area that I'm so excited for. Cool. Cool. So if you're ready to expand our farm fields and turn barley into beer, then stick around until the end and let's jump right on into building Rivermouth. One of the first matters of business today is to add more families to Rivermouth, as we will need more people to tend to the fields. Even though we have a heavy plowing development point in Rivermouth, I still want to ensure we have enough families working the fields so we can maximize our harvest seasons. I also want to add a lot more fields to Rivermouth over time. Because of this, we will need more people. So let's jump in and let's add maybe 1 or 2 more blocks of housing in. Sweet. So all those level 3 burgage plots that we had queued up at the beginning of the episode have, still partially constructed, but gotten us enough level 3s to get us our next development point for New Namruth. So I was actually thinking it would be worthwhile probably going for the basic armor making. And my thought process behind this is most of our army is based on New and Amaruth. So putting the development point here would help beef up our army. So Armor's Workshop enables the production of helmets. After unlocking advanced armor making and master armor making enables the production of mail armor and plate armor. So I don't think we can get plate armor yet. I want to say... Oh, I guess that's not locked behind the early access. But yeah, let me know down in the comments. Do you think we should start moving down the armor making field a little bit? Or do you think we should grab one of these other perks here? Now that we're queued up with a bit more population ready to move in, let's add in some more farm fields. I think I will want another 3 because then we can capitalize on our crop rotation and ensure one field is assigned to each grain each year as well as one fallow. So let's get some more new fields in, and I think I want to keep them close to our farmhouse so that the farmhouse can act as an anchor and a center point for our people. Now, for the record, I don't expect these fields to yield much this year, or honestly, really anything. But I want to start automating the production so we can focus on conquering, uniting the lands under our banner. And all we'll need to focus on is just putting families into the farmhouse itself, instead of worrying about which fields are currently producing what. Next, let's get the production chain up and running, as we did build a few fields last episode, and I want to make sure our settlers can survive the oncoming winters. So let's start with the windmill so we can start grinding some of our wheat into flour for bread. And I think, honestly, I kind of just want to put it right in the corner here. Because I want it as close to the farmhouse as possible. But I don't think that's going to be the best utilization of space. So it does fit right here, but I was kind of hoping to make this a little bit more denser for, aesthetic reasons. Okay, it happened. It's going here. Let's get this up to a very high priority. So while we are still building some of the housing right now, this can get done first. So once the wheat has been harvested and turned into flour, we then need a communal oven so that it can be baked into bread. So if we come back into our construction panel here, I want to get the communal oven. And it's actually such a small asset, so I'm going to totally go back on what I said earlier. We are going to put the windmill in the corner right here. Put that back up to very high. And then let's actually get the communal oven and put it right down in this corner right here. I think I want it to face this way on this main road, looking at our hitching posts. Okay, or not, because I want to prioritize it in the corner over everything else. I am actually a little curious if we would be able to keep Rivermouth alive with just bread. We wouldn't need other food types really, since I'm not looking to upgrade these burgage plots too much. And New and Amaruth is actually really stable right now for food because it's coming in from Cordovia. So I'm a little bit tempted to experiment. let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Should we experiment and see if Rivermouth can survive on just bread alone, or should we export the excess wheat to New Amruth to bolster up our army? Alright, now let's focus on growing the trade between Rivermouth and New Amruth. I want to employ the same strategy in Rivermouth that we did back in Cordovia, only instead of exporting food to New Amruth, we are going to export wheat, flax, and barley. Unless you guys want to experiment and see a little bit on how this region does on its own with just bread. So let's start with our trade post, and I want to keep it closer to the middle of our territory where we have established our first storage units. That way the traders don't need to travel as far to get the goods they need to transport to New Amruth. So let's get this, I think I want it snuggled right like this. That just fits so perfectly. Oh my goodness. Just look at how flushed that is against the roads. That makes me very satisfied. And before we jump into a time lapse to watch this all build up, let's snuggle a livestock farm in right near the trade house. One, I really like how these two assets kind of just fuse together, and two, eventually I will want to be importing some sheep to help fertilize our fields, especially our fallowed fields once we've unlocked that development point. So let's jump on in. And per my usual, I think we're going to offset this just a little bit to keep it as flush with the other trade post as possible. Awesome. Let's jump into a time lapse and kind of watch this build up. Now that the buildings are constructed, let's jump into our trade here, and we are going to uncheck the box that allows the territory. What's going on? There we go. We're going to come in and we are going to uncheck these boxes that allow the territories to trade with outside connections. This should keep the trade between our territories only when sufficient regional wealth and the need for the resource is met. So where I want to start is actually here. And let's export everything. And let's say we keep, let's say 50 for now for each item. Hopefully that should suffice. And then because we do have the deep iron mine, we don't need any iron in Rivermouth. So I think coming in here to our iron ore and exporting it and leaving this at 0, this should put everything over onto New Amruth. So then let's jump on over to our other territories here. And let's start with New Amruth, and let's come to the trading post. And let's set up this trade to match the other side. And I'm going to put this one much higher, just to kind of give us a little bit of a buffer zone. in between our trades. We will leave this like this for now, just because we aren't actually creating or mining. That's the word I'm looking for. We're not mining any ore right now in Rivermouth, so for now we'll continue to import via the outside connections. So next, let's jump on over to Cordovia. And this shouldn't be taking in any. Yeah, so there's no trade here anyway, so we should be all set in Cordovia. So I would like just to take a very quick moment here to come on in and manage our army, as we have a surplus in our treasury now, and I want to dump a lot of that surplus into hiring a retinue. So during some of our last battles, we took some heavy hits on our retinue, so I want to start probably with the new Enamoruth. And just hiring in some more people. So what I'd like to do is just kind of go through here and get everyone back up and running. Okay, so that got us about 14 people. I'm going to leave us at a 1,115 revenue. We still have a couple of months before the king collects his tax, but this way we have a little bit of buffer in case he also, the king also increases his tax. All right, everyone, so let's let the game run a little bit and allow the building to catch up with us. During this time lapse, I will probably assign some more people to our farms if we get some people to come in, because that was a little bit of a rough winter. So sit back, relax, and enjoy our little worker bees running around. Alrighty everyone, I think that just about wraps up today's episode. Today we expanded Rivermouth by growing our population, food, production, and trade to start exported needed goods over to New Enamoruth. So if you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to leave a like and let me know down in the comments whether the development point we got in New Enamoruth should go towards our mail armor or if we should go towards a different development point. Until next time, I hope everyone has a phenomenal week.